In 1997, scientists recorded one of the loudest sounds ever detected in the ocean. A deep, powerful noise that echoed across thousands of kilometers. They called it the Bloop. At the time, no one could explain it. It didn't match known marine animals. It didn't behave like typical geological activity. It was something unusual. Eventually, the official explanation suggested it may have been caused by ice, a large fracture in a distant glacier. And for most people, that was enough. Case closed. But not everyone agreed, because when researchers went back and analyzed older and newer recordings, they found something strange. The Bloop was not the only sound like it. There were others. Different names, different locations, but eerily similar patterns. Deep, low-frequency pulses, massive in scale, too powerful to ignore. Some of these sounds were detected years apart. Others appeared in completely different regions of the ocean, and yet, they shared characteristics that shouldn't repeat naturally. That is when a quiet theory began to form. What if the Bloop was not an isolated event? What if it was just the first one we noticed? Because the ocean is not silent. Far from it. Every day, thousands of sounds travel through the water. Most of them are understood. Whales, ships, earthquakes. But a small percentage remain unexplained. And some of those unexplained signals sound disturbingly similar, not identical, but close enough to raise questions. The kind of questions that don't have easy answers. Some researchers believe these sounds are simply rare, natural events. Ice shifting, underwater landslides, unknown geological activity. And they might be right. But there is one detail that continues to bother those who study these signals. Consistency. Not perfect repetition, but enough structure to suggest something more, something organized. Because nature is chaotic, but patterns feel different. They feel intentional, and that is where the discomfort begins. Because if something is producing structured signals in the deepest parts of the ocean, then we have to consider a possibility that most people would rather ignore. That we are not the only ones using sound to communicate, and the deeper the signal originates, the less we understand about its source. Some of these recordings come from regions of extreme depth, places where pressure is so intense it limits almost all known life, places we have barely explored, places that remain, for the most part, completely unknown. So what could be producing sounds powerful enough to travel across entire oceans? What could exist at those depths, with enough scale, enough presence, to generate something like that? No official answer has been confirmed, and maybe there never will be, because exploring the deep ocean is not easy. It is expensive, dangerous, and incredibly limited. We have seen more of the surface of Mars than the bottom of our own oceans, which means whatever is down there has had all the time in the world to remain hidden. But the most unsettling part is not what we have recorded, it is what we might have missed, because for every signal we detect, there could be dozens more, lost in the noise, ignored, or simply unnoticed. And if even a fraction of them are connected, then the Bloop was never just a sound. It was a clue. A small piece of something much larger. Something that doesn't reveal itself easily. Something that doesn't need to. Because it is already exactly where it wants to be. Deep below, out of sight, out of reach. And still, making itself heard. So the next time a signal like that appears, we may recognize it. We may even understand it. But that doesn't mean we'll be ready for what it implies. Because sometimes, the scariest part is not the sound itself, but the possibility that something is answering back. And now, think about this carefully. If those signals were never alone, and something deep in the ocean is truly responding, what do you think is really down there? Let me know in the comments section. I read everything. Theories, ideas, even your fears. And if this video made you feel something, if it stayed in your mind, then subscribe, because this is only the beginning.